All right, folks. Next installment of Ask Chat. Let's say the words right. Ask Chat GPT some deep questions that we can then discuss on this channel. So next up is, what is the relationship between knowledge and wisdom? As per usual, love to hear from you folks. What are your guys' ideas? What are your thoughts? What are your contemplations? Give me another synonym. Oh my God, my words are way off today. I was going to say, give me another synonym, and then it came out as cinnamon, which is a spice. It's a great spice, but not what I'm asking for. So let's stay on topic, stay focused. What is the relationship between knowledge and wisdom? So what is the relationship? It's a good question. And I think the way that I like to think about it is they're definitely kind of go hand in hand. Knowledge and wisdom. I think knowledge turns into wisdom potentially. And the thing that kind of crops up in my mind is wisdom feels more like something that's long term. Maybe it's something that goes along with experience. So like as the years roll on, as you acquire knowledge over the years, perhaps some of that stuff turns into wisdom. So I almost think of it as like wisdom is like kind of larger than knowledge. Maybe not. I guess it depends. Maybe you could acquire a lot of bits of knowledge and only maybe focus on a certain aspect of that knowledge. Perhaps there's a passion or there's something that you find interesting. And so a lot of your knowledge kind of gets filtered down to a specific set of things over the years. And maybe that kind of filtering down turns eventually into wisdom. Something that I like to think about is that like all the knowledge that I have when it comes to my job eventually kind of turns into wisdom, in that the specific knowledge turns into something that can be a bit more generic. So like when new technology comes out, I can still use some of the same patterns of thought to understand the new piece of technology or new methodology, or whatever the case may be, without having to really dive too deep. And I feel like a lot of that's based on my wisdom of being in the field for so long. So again, I kind of feel like there is some sort of relationship between experience and wisdom. And it's like the more you acquire knowledge of maybe a given topic or a given field, that sort of stuff starts to turn into wisdom. Can also apply maybe to other things as well. Like I like to think about wisdom as being something that kind of could be handed down. Maybe you talk to your parents or grandparents and they impart wisdom on you. And again, I think that's because of time, because your parents or your grandparents or elders, whatever kind of terminology you want to use, they've been on the planet longer than you, and they've acquired all of this knowledge and kind of turned that knowledge into wisdom over time. And maybe in that regard, it's kind of like the summary of their knowledge is what becomes wisdom, and they can impart that onto you, and not necessarily imparting all of the individual pieces of knowledge, but more taking the summary of their knowledge and imparting that on you. So again, I think there is definitely a strong relationship between the two things. I think knowledge is something that you can acquire through more direct learning. So like maybe learning something from a book, or going to classes, or being around individuals that have a certain type of intelligence that you want to acquire, and you kind of pick up on those bits and pieces of knowledge. But wisdom is something that's maybe more acquired over time. I don't know if you necessarily could go to like a class or go read a book specifically to acquire wisdom. You more likely acquire knowledge. So again, I think there's this sort of time and summary of knowledge that turns into wisdom. Something along those lines. That's kind of where my brain's going. I'm at 5 minutes. Did a bit of weird the words are not coming out today. Did a bit of weird rambling. So back to you folks. What do you think? What's the relationship between knowledge and wisdom? How do you acquire knowledge? How do you acquire wisdom? And somebody help me. I can't seem to get the words out today. I think it's lack of sleep. All right. Till next time. Peace.